Why, hi there. It's me. It's Uncle Ron. Look at the camera. You've done this 1,000 times before. How are you? Welcome to the program for this taping on this 15th day of September 2024. And today I'm going to give you a virtual unboxing of Solitaire Pro Football in the 1983 season. I'm going to show you what you get when you get the game and what you get with an individual season and my thoughts on the game. Now, I can't show you how I play it. I can play it well, use the Pro Football Helper to do so, but I have been asked not to show how I get from point A to point B, and I'm going to fulfill that request by not showing you. But I will show you what comes with the game and what comes with if you buy a season book. So let's get right to that, shall we? And also my thoughts. This is the game parts. If you've not bought a season, it comes with 61 pages, a 61-page PDF. I don't think he does this in print form. Someone has a bonfire going outside, so my studio room is just smelling so wonderful and woody and smoky right now. Anyway, so at first you get some instructions. And we zip through those. Don't worry. Then there's the timing charts and sudden death rule charts and fast action play. So the instructions are 21 pages. It doesn't take that long to go through. I played this game a couple of years ago. When I picked it back up, when Dave and I were talking about it, I picked it back up in about 30 minutes. It's not difficult. And again, it's Solitaire Pro. So it's completely designed for you to play by yourself without anyone else. Also, you get this cheat sheet, which goes through how to go through everything. So if you got any questions, for the most part, you just check on that. So that's 2 pages. Special action chart. You can go for onside kick. You can go for fumble recoveries, blocked field goals, blocked punts, breakaway charts. What happens when you have interceptions in the end zone, squib kicks, fake kicks, shanked punts. Here's a timing chart for that. I kind of do my own thing with that, but actually, how do I do that? Interesting. I change around some of that, so to mix and match. A play call card. So there are ratings for each team, and you add one team, and another team will either add or subtract, and then you pull a play card. Because you can have the game call for you using the dice system that comes with the game, which is a 50-sided die. So depending on that, the lower the number of the play call card, the higher the passing offense is, all the way down to card number 22, which is going to be, run, run, run. So here's a sample score sheet. We'll get to that later when I show you the team chart. But that all comes with it. You can make as many copies of this as you want. Although when I show you the virtually unbox the 83 season, you're going to be amazed at what's there. These are the fast action cards. I think it comes with 144. Every one you buy is unique. And it's okay, there's your 9. And so I'm not going to explain how these work, but it makes the game work extremely well and extremely efficient. And you can get plays decided in as little as 1 or 2 card flips. These are the play call charts, and so again, the game works on a 1 to 50 basis. And so, let's say play card number 1, which I'm not sure anyone would do. That would be pretty much all pass all the time. On a 1st and 10, you're only running 26% of the time. That's Oregon college football type stuff. So you would roll the 50-sided dice. You would cross-reference where you were, down a distance. Let's say 2nd and 7 on play card 4. 2nd and 4 to 7. If I rolled a 1 to 17, I would run. It says short pass in the game. I'm going to say it's a regular pass. In this instance, on 2nd down to 4 to 7 on play card 4, be 18 to 48. And the long pass under 49 or 50. And those are long passes. So it gives, so you don't even have to call your own plays if you don't want to. So you get 24 of those, and again it goes from heavy passing to pretty much heavy running. 24 on a 1st and 10, you're running 72% of the time. So from the most wide open offenses, he goes all the way down to the most conservative offenses. Also has a 2-minute drill offense, which you can pretty much, use it when you want. Your game, your rules. But pretty much says, what's considered what he calls a short pass. It's a pass or a long pass. There's only 3 different play calls in the game: run, short pass, or long pass. He's kind of slow down offense where you can just kind of run until Daddy takes your T-bird away, and a short yardage situation, which starting from the 5-yard line, kind of correctly calls what plays you want to run. So all that is there. So that's all the game part. So it's 61 pages. A lot of it, if you just print it once, you're going to need, obviously, for the fast action cards. And again, there's 144. You can buy fast action card decks. The game is really intuitive for that. And so it just comes with those charts. And that's it. There's what do we say? The play call. I don't want to go through these two. The play call charts. The timing chart. The squib fake kick chart. And this chart. So there's only 5 pages of charts that you need for the entire game. That's incredible. So it is not difficult to pick up. It takes me about 2 hours. I think Dave was taking about 2 hours, about a half-hour quarter, but I use the helper and I record every play. So that's, you got to have, if you're going to do this the way that I play, you got to have this open. But once you get used to it, you really don't need to do much with the instructions. Now, for every season you buy, you get a 154-page book. I know on the surface that sounds like a lot, but my goodness, for the price you pay for this, you get a mountain of information. See, an absolute veritable mountain of information. Of course, this page is in invisible ink, and it says that the New York Giants are the best thing ever. And maybe it doesn't, because it's an invisible ink. So the first thing it shows you are the standings for that particular year, the points for, the points against, just in case you need a refresher for that. And it's not a good Giants season. I don't know why I'm looking at the camera. They went 3-12-1. Washington, that was the year that the Raiders beat them in the Super Bowl. I'm still mad at Jack Squirick. I know he's no longer with us. And if I see Marcus Allen dashing from the into that end zone one more time, anyway. So the first thing it does is it gives you the standings, the points for and points against, so you know who you might want to play, or if your memory's kind of faulty. I mean, if you're a Tampa, New York, or Houston fan, you probably don't really want to replay the 83 season. There's a lot of good teams. And of course, 83 is Dan Marino's rookie year, John Elway's rookie year, Ken O'Brien's rookie year. Probably missing some others, but you know where I'm going with that. And Joe Montana's already won a Super Bowl. Again, another page that talks about, in invisible ink, the greatness of the 1983 New York Giants. All right, then it gives you the schedule, so you can go game by game. If you want to take a certain team and play out a season, they'll just tell you who was home and who was away and how they did against them. So let's take a look at the Bengals. Despite my better efforts, they started 0-3. So they lost at home to the Raiders, and then lost at home to Buffalo, and then lost in Cleveland. And then in week 4, they beat Tampa in Tampa, then lost at home to Baltimore, and then at home to Pittsburgh, and then at Denver. So, we're 1-6, and 12-year-old me is not a happy camper. Then they won 3 weeks in a row. They beat the Browns, the Packers, and then go into Houston 55-14. I bet I was pretty happy that Sunday. And then it just kind of goes through. So it's there for all the teams. You get the complete schedule for that. You can see where Miami actually won their last 5 games. I mean, we don't need to go through the Giants' schedule. It was bad. It was bad. The Raiders, who won the Super Bowl that year, if you're wondering, they lost to Washington in Washington on Week 5. Seattle in Week 7. Seattle was really good that year. Seattle beat them at home, too. However, the Raiders beat them in the AFC Championship game. Again, not a happy camper. And then the Cardinals beat them 34-24. So it goes through and does that and shows you the result. And then the playoffs, which Seattle went to beat Denver at home and then went into Miami and won. And then, just bad things happened after that. Okay, so what you can do for the games that you don't want to play, there's a quick result chart. And so each team is given a rating, an offensive rating or a defensive rating. You roll the dice twice, once for each team. The first result you get off the chart is added or subtracted to the visiting's offensive rating. The second result you get off the chart is added or subtracted to the offensive rating of the home team. That is each team's first half score. Then you do the same thing to roll out the defenses for the second half score. And so, again, any game you don't want to play out by hand, you can get a quick result. And it shows you how to break ties and all that. And it's for each season has an individual chart. So if you just wanted to do a quick play, and for the $11 that you pay for this, everything's there. If you just wanted to do that, here's a worksheet and how to work all that out. You get final scores. You get no stats, but you get final scores and you get standings. And so just by that part, it's a great quick play game. And we do all the work there. Now, here are the bread and butter of the game. And so here is the Colts team sheet. And so once you determine what play you do, you then re-roll this. Let's go through how the defense works in this game. Every team has a grade A through F. And if you use the Pro Football Helper, it'll automatically tell you what defense it is. I think Dave has a big old 6-sided die with A through F. You could just do 1 through 6 and roll a 6-sider if you so chose. And so there's some math involved. Let's say that you're Mike Pagel for Baltimore. It's going to throw a short pass to Matt Booza. So you would take the 8 in Pagel's S and add it to the 2 under the R for Booza and get a generic grade of 10. And then you would roll the dice to see. Let's say you rolled a D, and we're playing Baltimore playing itself, which might have been a good thing that particular year. I don't know why they were 7-7. And it would be a -2. And so you would check under the card so 12 minus 2 is 10, and you check on the card on the 10 column to see if the pass was complete or not. Very easy to do and very good rhythm. So passers, anyone who ran the ball for Baltimore, here is carded on the sheet. The receivers are all there. The ones with the dots next to the name, Tracy Porter or Curtis Dickey. I'm not seeing Tracy Porter. Curtis Dickey, Randy McMillan, who are running backs. They all had the locator die, and so it will tell you who was the wide receivers and tight ends and who was the running backs and all such. Kickoff returns, punt returns. The IX return is interception return, sacks. We'll go down the page a little bit here. Penalties. Each team is giving an offensive rating and a defensive rating, and so you compare one team's offense to the other team's defense. If it falls within that range, it is a penalty. You flip a card, kind of go from there. It's all fast action card driven. Fumble ratings, the first one for Baltimore, as you can see here, is 1-27. So if it's on a 50-sided flip, because they're all done on, if you're just using the fast action cards, those are all there in the fast action cards, the numbers. So if you flip a 1-27, the ball is indeed fumble, and if you flip it again and it's 1-26, you lose the football. Sacks work, pass block, and pass rush. So in Baltimore's case, if they were playing themselves, they were, Again, a flip of a card between 1 and 50. If it's between 9 and 36, Pagel's getting sacked. It's not pretty. Also, all the punters have an average and a long. There's a block rating and an end zone rating if you're trying a coffin corner kick. And all the kickers are rated for extra points and anything from, in this case, a leg ray up to 55 yards. And so it pretty much gives you the odds of whether the kick would be good or not. So every team has a page like this. Let's see, Buffalo went 8-8. The higher the rating, the better the quarterback. In this case, Elway's rookie year for Denver, 8. DeBerg was rated better, and then so was Kubiak. I mean, the same defense goes for the pass and the run. For the pass, it changes the grade. So let's say Elway to Upchurch would be a net 10 on a regular pass, but you rolled an A or a 1 for the defense, or you would take away 5 for that, so you'd be looking at the 5 column. The run, it changes the average. So let's say Nathan Poole or Sammy Winder has a 42% chance because he's 1 to 21 of getting a carry. You ignore the runs there. That's for something a little bit later. But his average is a 2. So if you look on the card, it give you the defense and you make the adjustment. So let's say they're playing against Denver and you get the B. So his average would go from, take the -3 and the 2 and you get a -1. But on the fast action cards, you can actually get like a +5 or +6 with the average. So even though that Winder should be tackled behind the line of scrimmage, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's the case. So they're sorted AFC. Here's Marino's rookie card, by the way. Strzok was better. The long rating is important too, and Marino's a 5. It just means the higher the number, the combined rating between the receiver and the quarterback, the higher the chance of completion. That's how the game works for the most part. So that's Marino's rookie card. We do them by conference in alphabetical order. Let me show you LA, because you can't play the game without the cards. So I have no trouble showing this off. So Plunkett and Marcus Allen, and his long for the year was 19. That's interesting. So that's the Raiders card. That pass defense is pretty solid. Inside the 5 for a run, you look at the right-hand column there, and you're taking, in the Raiders case with a B defense, they're taking 3 yards off the average of the run. Pass, you start looking inside the 15, and those are grades. Again, B and E, not what you want if you're going against the Raiders. And you can have yards per after the catch. Yak. And they can be a positive or a negative. A positive would be good for the receiver. A negative is good for the Raider defense in this case. So sometimes it's a negative and sometimes it is a positive. Then we go to the NFC, all in alphabetical order. Now let's take a, let's not. So those are there. Let's look at my Giants. Good run defense. Not good passing. Except for Ernest Gray. So all laid out there, and if you wanted to, I suppose you could do it as played, if you knew who played in each game, but really the fun is just, it's the math is going to be pretty close. He's done a heck of a job with this. Also, there are sacks. In some seasons it comes before the team sheets. In some seasons I don't think that they have them at all. This particular one does. Again, you roll that, or you flip a card for the 50, or roll that dice on the helper, and it tells you. In this case, between 12 and 21, if the Giants get a sack, it's Lawrence Taylor. He was second on the team behind George Martin to do that. In fact, Leonard Marshall had a sack. Interesting. So if you see the locator numbers, you look at Ernest Gray's 1 through 14, then you assume that after John Missler is 22, there's no blank between 14 and 22. Missler would be 15 to 22, Butch Woolfolk 23 to 27, and so on and so forth down the line. And for those 4 that are 50s there, John Tuggle, Joe Morris, Leon Bright, and Billy Canfield, you would look at another number on the card or flip for the 50 and then determine from there who gets it. So it's doing its best to make sure that people get around the amount of carries and catches that they should get over the course of a game. And you want to see Montana? Oh my goodness, he's an 11 short and a 5 long. That's good. If you have less than 1 yard to go on like a third down or whatever, you can take a look on a run play or a pass play and determine whether or not you made the first down if that play was able to stretch over. So in a case of San Francisco versus San Francisco, if you flipped over the fast action card on a 3rd and 1 and you saw it was between 12 and 33, congratulations, you got the first down. You get that little extra oomph, which San Francisco might have needed in 83. And here's Tampa. Right, and here's Washington, maybe one of the greatest offenses of all time. Their defenses are... So at 29, there's a cross-reference there. So let's say Washington was playing Tampa. So you see, Tampa is a +2, then parentheses, and Washington is a 29. So I take that 29. Where's my chart here? Is it here? We'll flip through because I'm an idiot and didn't do this in advance. All right. So if you take that resulting number, 29, and add 2, it gives you a 31. You cross-reference 31, so Washington against Tampa, this is all individualized per team, or per opponent, would be playing with grade card number 19. Now, Washington is -6, so that's going to force the teams who's playing them to throw a lot more, because remember, the closer to 1, the more wide open the offense is. Tampa's number is 22. 22 minus 6 is 16. We look at 16, and your Tampa is doing play call card number 4. So you would pull the sheet with play card number 4 and then play card number 19 for Washington, and then go from there, and that determines how aggressive or how conservative an offense is. Washington would be pretty conservative, and Tampa would be throwing the ball all over the joint with the -6. It just goes to show how strong Washington's defense is, because you're going to be behind quicker. I believe that's how that works. So those are the team sheets. So we've given you the quick play. We've given you the sheets. Now, let's tell you what you can print out. If you wanted to keep score this way, you would just print out the Baltimore Colts sheet, and all the ratings are right there, what their interception ratings and scramble ratings and rushers. That gray box by Dickey at 13 is he shouldn't exceed that number of carries until everyone else has hit their number of carries. Again, it is a way to, if you're manually calling games, to make sure that runners and receivers aren't overused. If you're using the play call charts, it does a good job with that. I was playing a game with the Bengals not so long ago from another season I have, and Steve Kreiner had 6 catches in the first half, which would be a lot. And in a lot of games would make you pretty much fatigued. But I'm just flipping cards. It's all random numbers, and Kreiner never had another catch. He could have. He wasn't shut down for that. But if you use the play call, if you use the Solitaire play calling system, you can pretty much ignore those. So play chart, you can write down the number of the player, the play result. It gives you Baltimore's offensive numbers. You could take the pen and fill in who they're playing for to give you the ranges for penalties. Whether or not the opponent's defense is helpful for interceptions or hurtful for interceptions. Your pass block and pass rush, which combined, if it falls into that number, gets you a sack and the first down ranges and all that. So kickoff returns, punt returns, if you need it, if you had a 2-sided printer, you could do it that way. The number of punts. What else is on this page? The kicking ranges for your if you want that, or kick out of bounds and all that. So just you can all there for you to use at your discretion. Same for Buffalo, and every team has that. Now, that's all fine and dandy. But wait, I mean, every team has it. Every team has it. It doesn't give you, on these sheets anyway, the locator die. You'd have to have the team sheets for that. This is just to record all the information. But let's go back to Baltimore here. This one is very clever, Black & Decker. So this is a worksheet. It has all of Baltimore's, again, except for the locator stuff, all there for you. And all you got to do is fill in the opponent's defense there, and you can pretty much play that along with the charts and the scores and the date and all that. And if you wanted to fill it the other way, there's Baltimore's defense, okay? But let's say you're playing Baltimore versus Buffalo. You take that information, you go back here to that, you're all set. It just puts it out in landscape form, and my goodness, that would be so handy to have. All the work is done for you. All you gotta do is worry about, fill in the boxes, and then you can play the game. And it has it looking, I mean, this looks like something Gardner would do. Playing it, all the teams have it. For the Jets offense, the Jets defense, all set up and ready to go for you. You just have to make copies. So he's giving you, here's the Packers, for instance, giving you all, two different forms to play off, and you just kind of print it off on your printer. If you're worried about the color of your print, just, black and white, and they have the nice version of that. So that's what you get in a season. You get all 28 team charts, the way to play the quick play, the way and sheets that you want to, if you want to keep stats that way, just print up before you go and do that. All that for one amazingly low price. So again, an easy game to learn. Every fast action, look at the camera, Ron. Every fast action card deck is different. And that's another saying thing. So order one or two, they're not the same 144 cards. And again, nothing wrong with that. Shuffle as many times there. Break it down however you want. The cards that come with the game have 5 random numbers from 1 to 50 on the side. You can use them, I think, for different quarters if you so chose. However you want to shuffle them up, all the numbers are there. It just is a completely amazing game. Now, for me, it is as close to a perfect card and dice football game as you're ever going to get. If you are a fan of defense, although defenses do matter a great deal, it looks to be simplistic. Looks can be deceiving. Unlike season ticket football, there are no plays that you're going to cross-reference. It's just A through F or 1 through 6, depending on what you want to use for that. Although on the cards, it will tell you, what defense you are going against. It is a robust system, and it will stymie you, and you're not going to run all over the field. Although you're not going to get individual tackles in the game, so you're not going to know how many times that Lawrence Taylor brought someone down or Mike Singletary brought someone down, or get the play calls. The Bears aren't going to be, you have to use some imagination to assume that the 85 Bears are in the 4-6 and Tampa 2s and cover this and all that. It's all baked into the results of the game. The 85 Bears, if they get pressure on you, are going to sack you about 60% of the time. They will hurt you badly. And football, fumbles and interceptions and penalties galore. The ranges for that are very good, and it's a very clear system. And if you want to watch some gameplay, Dave Gardner has quite a few games out there now, and you can watch that. But it does not really give you, if you're looking for, let's say, like an action PC experience or a second and 10 experience where you can, pick your specific defense and send out your blitzers. That isn't this game. Having said that, for my level of football fandom, it is absolutely fantastic. And I just showed you everything that comes with each season, which starts at $10 and I think goes up to $12. What you get in the PDF. And again, all the score sheets there in the back, a way to quick play games that you don't necessarily want to play. And it takes, like I said, for me, it's about a half hour, a quarter. But what I do for timing is a little bit different that comes with the game. Adjust for how you will. So that's a virtual unboxing of Solitaire Pro Football. What comes with the instructions. Each instruction set has a unique set of cards. And you can buy additional decks of 144 cards. And he will be glad to send you those off as much as you'd like. You can print them off yourself. I think Dave has made the cards, and you can see how we did that. And you can keep track of all the stats that you want on offense. And trust me, the game plays very well. It's amazing. And with the Solitaire Pro play calling charts, a lot like with Second Season and Cold Snap, it comes out very accurately about how people were used and how many carries that they get. And you can override the decision at any time. If you don't really want to run on 3rd and 8, because there's always a chance that they're going to be running on 3rd and 8, override it. Call your own play. So that's a brief look at how the game looks. I cannot do any gameplay on the channel. I gotta tell you, I enjoy it a great deal. Dave Gardner has quite a few games now there if you want to see how it plays. But that's what you get when you buy a season and the instructions. And I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.